I don't know, 35, right? And I'm starting to feel it. The age is starting to catch up with me a little bit, starting to get there. I'm starting to get the creaks and the groans and all that stuff, which means I need to work out more. Problem is, I fucking hate the gym. I'm not into it. I don't like the gym. Currently, my relationship with it is I pay Planet Fitness $10 a month to stay home and do push-ups on the rug that my cat pukes on. That's what I do. I don't know, man. It's weird because, like, the gym now, like, I used to like going to the gym. I used to have a gym that I really enjoyed. It was a community gym, which is just a fancy way of saying a bunch of old people went to this gym. And I loved it. It was fantastic. If you wanted to get in and out of there, it was perfect. You could use every machine because they can't. It's awesome, you know? But the one thing I was not prepared for at this gym, the locker room. I was not ready. I was not ready. Old men possess a confidence in their body that I will never have, you know? They're walking around naked. They don't give a shit. They love it. They really do. They want you to, like, make a conversation and make eye contact, but it's very distracting, right? They're like, look at me here, and I'm like, I don't know what to look at. There's 2 up here and 2 down here. What the fuck am I looking at? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just so bizarre to me. Like, in that this is what they do, because there's a whole, like, it is helpful. I'll say it is helpful, because I was a very, like, time-oriented guy at the gym. I wanted to go in, be there for an hour. I'd get there at 5, I leave at 6. And the bright side to all of this is, if I was having a down day where I wanted to take off early, I'd come back into that locker room, I'd take a look around. John's balls are just hanging there like a grandfather clock, and I'm like, looks like that clock says 5:30. Get back out there, buddy. You know? I don't know. It is weird, like, because the way that they do, it's just the thing. There's a bench, and they always do this. It's just right out there. The balls are out. Have you ever looked at an old man's nutsack up close? It's just 2 avocados swinging back and forth in a CVS bag. Hate to break it to you. It's rough to look at. I don't know. The gym, I'm fucking 35. It's, I don't know. I don't know what's happening in my life anymore. It's getting weird. Oh, fuck. That was a lot. The gym's a lot. I don't know. I grew up in a very small town. I grew up in a really, really small town in Illinois. And I never really had much luck with dating. That wasn't a thing that happened for me. Like, because in my small town, this is before dating apps. This is before any of that shit. So all I really had the option was the local bar, which means that you commingle. The old people, the young people, we commingle. That's all it is. And you end up hooking up, right? So, like, here's the thing. There's this show called MILF Manor, right? It's a lot like that. Dating in my hometown was a lot like that. If you're not familiar with the show, here's what the premise of the show is. It's a bunch of women 40 years and over, and a bunch of dudes like 18 to 26, right? First episode, first challenge, they blindfold all of them, put them in 2 rows. They haven't seen each other yet. They make all the dudes take their shirts off. And then they have the women, one by one, go through and rub their abs, and that's who they go on a date with. The best abs win, right? Yeah, but it's reality TV, so where's the twist, right? Turns out it's their sons. Yeah. So that's what dating in my hometown was like. You go there. Last call at the bar, they flip the lights on, you're like, Aunt Judy! Well, I guess we're keeping it in the family tonight. Here we go, you know? I don't know. I've told, like, I did hook up with an older woman. It was, here's the thing. When you tell people you hooked up with an older woman, a lot of times, these, like, younger guys, they're like, fucking nice, right? And you're like, there's no difference. Older women, younger women, it's not better or worse. It's not. The only advice I have for young guys that are, like, really into it, it's a lot like inheriting a classic car, right? You know, you get it, the body's nice, you pop open the hood and you realize, I might not have brought enough lube for this situation. I'm not sure. I like it. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know. I've had a lot of health stuff growing up. I had a lot of health issues growing up, like, and being 35, like, they haven't stopped, right? Like, I went to the doctor a few years ago because I hurt my back. I don't know, I sneezed. I don't know what the fuck I did. I hurt my back. And I go in, and they give me all the scans, and they go through everything, and they're like, she comes back with the results, and she's like, everything looks great. All your scans look fantastic. A little bit of scoliosis, but you knew that. And I was like, excuse me, what? Like, I didn't know I had scoliosis. You mean to tell me I've been walking around my entire life like a fucking seahorse and nobody told me? What are we doing in the medical community? This is not fair. I don't know. It goes back to because here's the thing. Growing up, I wanted what every little boy wants, right? Normal penis. Yeah. I had a botched circumcision at birth. I didn't know for about 12 years. I had no idea for years. And then I watched porn, and I very quickly found out there are two kinds of dicks in this world. That's cut and uncut. And I was working with more of a third-party candidate situation. Weird thing to find out a little late, right? But my mom had figured out that I had figured it out. You know, she'd walk into the room like, why is that sock standing on its own? You know, reason like that. So she sits me down one day and she's like, okay, let's go to the doctor. Because, you know, she's a nice mom. She wants the same thing I want. We both want me to have a Pinocchio experience. We want me to be a real boy. So we go to the doctor, right? But here's the thing. The doctor was scary as shit because, like, it's surgery. That's scary. But on top of it, it was scary to me because what if it's the same guy from last time? You know what I mean? Like, they put in an anesthetic and right as I'm about to pass out, they just kind of lean in, pull down their mask like, remember me? Wake up with a balloon animal for a dick. That's not what I'm going for. But I am happy to report everything went fine. I got my Pinocchio experience. Now the weirdest part about me is I will not stop telling strangers about my dick on stage. So thank you for coming. I don't know. It's one thing after another with me. Right about the time that I had that surgery, I started to develop a cyst in my cheek. I had that cyst in my cheek for 17 years. Started out the size of a pea, grew to about the size of a ping pong ball, so little noticeable, you know? It was out there. And here's the thing, like, it never bothered me when people would point it out, really. It didn't really bother me all that much. And here's the thing, I lived in Texas for a while. I lived in Austin, Texas for a while, and I used to like to go to bars to hang out. I'd go to these honky-tonks, and it's a bunch of just old-timer Texans, right? Just these good old boy guys hanging out. And I would go out, I'd have my drink, I'd go out, I'd have a cigarette. And while I was having a cigarette, these Texans would see the cyst in my cheek, and they'd come over and they'd be like, man, you smoke and dip at the same time? That is fucking hardcore. They were real into it. And that never bugged me, right? But like, there's always one guy that ruins the party, right? So this is while I'm still living in Texas. Me and my girl at the time, we had a ritual. Every Tuesday, we'd go to this bar that had a taco truck. We'd get the tacos. That's the ritual. Not much to it, right? One time we go, and I go to the bathroom immediately. She goes to order the tacos. I come back. While I'm gone, I don't know what happened, but she's like real upset when I get back. Like very upset. So I ask her. Turns out they'd hired a new bar back. She had gotten into it with that guy, and he called her the worst thing that you can call a woman. Worse than bitch, worse than whore. He dropped the C-bomb, and I don't know, call me old-fashioned. I just think that's a little too intense for Taco Tuesday, don't you? You know what I mean? So, like, here's the thing. We were regulars. The staff knew us. They made this guy come apologize. And in the middle of the apology, I see that guy's eyes wandering, and he's clocking the cyst. He sees it. It's like, man, you're on a bad streak. Don't do it. In the middle of his apology, he goes, what's up with your face? Yeah. And look, here's the thing. I'm not a vengeful person. I don't like to exact revenge, but when the opportunity's right there in front of you, it's hard not to take. So to fuck with this guy, when he said, what's up with your face? I said, oh, it's cancer. Yeah, it got quiet. I know you guys, it's a lot. But in my defense, have you ever seen the life in somebody's eyes die in front of you? Because it feels fucking amazing. And this guy wasn't ready for it. And I know, cancer, it's not a great thing to joke about. It's not something you should ever want to have. But I got to tell you, I had it for one night. It's not that bad. So after that guy, I developed a routine to cover up the beard. I grew a beard to cover up the cyst, rather. That's what I did. And it worked for a long time, but I didn't know this. When you're a dude that grows a beard, other dudes with beards want to be your friend. I didn't know that. They're real into it. They'll come over and they'll just be like, oh shit, you don't have a personality either? Want to talk about crypto? Let's do this, you know? Get real into it. And there was this one time I was on the road, I was stopping at a gas station, right? And I just go in to get all my shit. I go up to the cashier, I put it all down, and I look at the cashier. He's this big dude, like 6'3", bunch of tattoos, giant beard. And as I'm just putting my stuff up there, he can't contain himself. He just goes, oh man, your beard looks so soft. And he said it all weird like that. And I was going to try to let him off the hook. I was going to try to say something. He immediately cut me off and he's just like, oh, no homo. I don't want to touch it or anything. Like, I don't think that makes it better. Like, you know what I mean? But like at this point, I don't really care. Like, I don't know. Honestly, my girlfriend hadn't complimented me like that in months. Come on, get in there, touch it. I'll suck your dick right now. Let's do this. You need a friend. I don't know. Dating was, yeah, like I said, dating was hard. It wasn't great. The last date, like, so I've been in a relationship for a while now, but the last date that like broke the back, like the straw that broke the camel's back situation before I met my girlfriend, this last date, 20 minutes in, I sit down with this woman, we go to dinner, 20 minutes in, she stops all the conversation and just goes, I don't like sex. It's like, I don't know what vibe I was giving off, you know, like, it's not like the breadsticks came out and I was like, those look like dicks. Like, I was doing pretty good, right? I was doing okay. I don't know. It's nice. I'm so glad to be out of the date again. It's really great. My girlfriend and I, we've been together for almost 6 years at this point, which, yeah, not a lot of people wooing, but that's okay. For me, 6 years, that's a big deal. That means I haven't ruined anybody's life in 6 years. That's a big deal. I don't know. It's great. It really is, because here's the thing. Like, 6 years, you know, everybody's like, oh, it starts to get stale. You got to kind of do some stuff to, you know, spice it up. So, like, in the bedroom, spice it up. We tried, right? We started to get a little more aggressive in the bedroom. That's what we started to do. But we're both getting older, right? So at this point, like, if I'm going to, like, pull her hair, most of it stays in my hand. Is that... Like, I thought I was supposed to be going bald. What the fuck is going on? You know, like, this is... I don't know. It's great, because here's the other thing. Like, we don't know if we want kids. Right now, we don't want kids. That's not a thing that we're looking for. And the whole time, we've managed to avoid a pregnancy scare. We've been pretty good about it. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of guys in this situation would chalk it up to having a good pull-out game, right? They'd be like, yeah, good pull-out game. Not me. She has a fantastic push-off game. Anytime I'm about to come, she just goes, we can't afford it, and just kicks me out of the room. Foolproof plan. Love her to death. Here's the thing, like, it's just, the kid thing, it gets to the point where it's like, I don't know if I'd be a good dad or not. Like, that's kind of where we're at, right? Like, I don't know if I'd be a good dad, so let's hold off for a little bit, right? Because there are things that I think I'd be good at. Like, I really like amusement parks. Me and my girl, we like Disney, we like fucking Six Flags, we like all that shit. I'd be a great dad in that scenario. But I might not be either, because we moved out here a couple years ago. We had heard about Magic Mountain. We're like, fuck yeah, we're gonna go. But let's check the reviews before we go. Let's see what it's about, right? We don't want to waste money. And we checked the reviews. First review, my brother died here. 4 stars. I was like, fuck yeah, we're going. 4 stars? You lost a sibling, and you're still good vouching for it. That's why I might not be a good dad. I don't know. You want to ride Superman, never come home? Yeah. I don't know. But the other part of it is just like, we keep getting pressure. We're getting pressure from every angle because we've been together a while. We're getting pressure on the kid thing. But it's mostly coming from my father. And here's the thing. My dad is 85 years old. I'm 35. Where was the sense of urgency back then, Dad? You want me to speed it up? It's been 50 years. Come on, you know? And here's the other thing. The way he does it bugs me. He goes, when are we going to have a bunch of little Phils running around? Yeah, like I'm going to name them after me. Here's the thing. I'm already named after him. He's named after the one before him. I'm Philip III. If we have a Philip IV, I don't care if you're a NASCAR family or the British royal family. Philip IV marries his sister, and I sure as shit ain't having 2 kids, you know? He just keeps pushing. It's like more evidence to, like, I don't know if I should be a dad, because I can't clock what a good or a bad dad is on site. Like, never been able to. Can't do it. I don't know why. There's this job I used to have where I worked with a guy named Ken. Ken had a daughter. I thought Ken was a great dad because he owned a Subaru. That was the only reason. And here's the thing. That doesn't make you a good dad. It at least makes you a savvy lesbian. I thought that was safe, you know? Turns out this guy sucks. He's not a good dude. Bad dad. Because first of all, he was the office funny guy. Self-appointed. That's not okay. Like, that's just not, we don't like that guy, right? But on top of it, what he would do to be funny is he would play mean-ass pranks on his daughter and bring the story to work. Yeah, and right before I quit, this is the prank he said he was going to play. This is verbatim. He goes, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a pregnancy test, I'm going to make sure it's positive, then I'm going to leave it in her bathroom, and then I'm going to yell at her. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's fucking horrifying. First of all, how's she gonna think she got pregnant from a test she didn't take? You got plot holes, dickhead. You know, like, make it believable at least. But the other thing is, like, I don't know how to teach this man. Like, how are you gonna get through to this man? The only way you can do it is to get on his level, right? So I came up with a prank that I think that he might enjoy, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna meet his daughter, fuck her, and get her pregnant for real. Because Ken needs consequences. Told that joke one time and a lady in the back goes, "Oh, you'd be a great dad." I don't know. There's another flip side. Like I missed the mark on Ken pretty hard, right? So on the other side, there was a dad that I didn't know if he was gonna be good or not. Like I lived in New York City for a while. I was on the subway, and while I was sitting on the subway, doors close. A guy and his little girl, they come in, and you can tell it's his weekend of custody with her, you know, because he's asking too many questions. He's just like, "How's your week? How's your mom? What's your name?" It was a lot, and he focused on one question in particular, kept asking it over and over and over, and he was just like, "Are you brushing your teeth?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "No, seriously, are you brushing your teeth?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why do we do that?" And she's like, "'Cause Daddy doesn't have any teeth." And he's like, "That's right." He had no teeth. And look, that doesn't necessarily make you a bad dad. I don't know how he lost his teeth, meth, but it was something. You know, like, something happened. And the thing that, like, this guy stuck with me for weeks. I just could not stop thinking about him. And I finally came to the conclusion that I think this guy might be the best dad I've ever seen. Because if you think about it, this man managed to lose all of his teeth and keep some of the custody. That's pretty good. You need a job for custody. That means he went into at least one job interview in his life like, "Does it come with dental?" That man has balls. Give him all the kids. I'll have kids so he can have more kids. How about that? While we're on the subjects of dads, my dad. Let's go back to old Phil Parker, the second. That guy, he was a Marine and a cop. That was, yeah, I don't really match that energy with him. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard growing up in that situation. Because here's the thing. He made the news all the time. He's still currently making the news. Like, a couple of months ago, he was on the front page of the local paper for a story that happened 35 years ago when I was born. He had this story. He arrested a guy, black guy, took him to jail, and on the way told him about God. Now, apparently, somewhere along the way, this black guy became a preacher at a very popular church in town, and he's doing great, right? So they wanted to write up a story about it. And it's really heartening, you know? You read the article, my mom sends me a picture, the big title just says, "White Savior Does It Again." It's fantastic. Hard to live up to. I don't know. He's a